Section 11.1. All right, the area of a rectangle is going to be base times height. And this is something you've done before. But I just wanted to review with you what that means when we're talking about area. We put down the base and height, and as we see, if between the dots are 1 centimeter, we can make 8 squares that are each a centimeter, which gives us 8 squared centimeters, or as we put down the answer here, the area is going to be 8 centimeters squared. And that's what the square sign with the units mean. The base is just going to be any side you pick. But when we get to the altitude is going to be the perpendicular segment that goes from the base to the opposite side. And then when we get to the height is just the altitude. It's just another name for the altitude. But we'll write down the notes. So now we're going to go through this with the rectangle. We have the base and height. We just did this on the previous slide. And then if we have a triangle, we're going to put the base at the bottom, and then the height is going to be the highest point of that triangle. So it's going to be the vertex. And then we have this next one where it's actually an obtuse triangle. So we still have the base. And remember, the base is still going to be the part that's actually part of the triangle. But when we do that altitude, is it going to be way over here? Is it going to be way over here? Well, it's going to end up being on the outside, the height of the triangle. And so we're just going to draw on a perpendicular line. And it's perpendicular to the base. But remember, the base is on the outside, or just part of the triangle. So we have two parallelograms that are identical to each other. And when you're picking the base, remember, you can pick any base we want. So for this one, we pick the bottom side to be the base. And the height is going to be perpendicular to the base, to the other side. And as we see, as we rotate it over 90 degrees, same thing happens. We can now pick the bottom side to be the base, which is different from the other one. And the height is also going to be different, but it's always going to be the perpendicular height. But we want to show you now that it doesn't matter which base and height you pick, you're still going to get the same area. So for this one, the base is 12, and the height turns out to be 6. The area is going to be 72. And for this one, we see that base is 8 when we rotate it over, but here the height is going to be 9. And so the one side is 12, but the area is still the same. So let's solve this one. This is going to be where we're going to divide it up into separate rectangles. So for this top part, we have this one big rectangle, and we see that the opposite sides are going to be 5. And so that makes the other part going to be 2, because the whole side's going to be 7. And so as we go along this, I know the opposite sides are 2 of the smaller rectangle. So the smaller rectangle is going to be 4. Find the area of each one. It's 30 and 8, which gives us an area of 38. So why don't you pause it right now and try this out yourself. Did you get these answers? Make sure when you multiply the square root of 3 together, it's going to be 3 to get 60. And make sure you multiply the y into each term. The magic word, prism.